All right, welcome everyone. Appreciate you all joining us on this wet Thursday. If you're anywhere in the Clearwater vicinity, make sure to have your umbrellas handy today. But we're going to get started here in a minute. We still have some people coming in from the lobby. We're going to be covering the navigation of the new pcpao.gov website. And I've also got our Deputy of GIS and Land Records, Kurt Nielsen, who is going to do some cleanup at the end to cover some cool bells and whistles that I may miss as I go through the presentation. But we're going to do a live demo of the website as we go through this. So we'll hopefully help you, whether you're a property owner or someone that does some kind of function in the real estate industry, construction industry, however you may use our website, because so many people use it in so many different ways. We think we want to make sure we point out where all the nuggets and jewels are through the site, because it has a lot of stuff in it, and some of it you just have to play with and you'll stumble across it. But we're going to give you a great overview today to make sure you can see what's going on in our new site. So I am going to reshare my screen again here. And we're going to get off to the races. So with the new website, one of the big things we really needed to do, it was on an old frames-based system. It served us well, or architecture. It served us well for over 20 years. However, it was not responsive, not mobile friendly, and was not the way that we would be able to develop the site going forward into the future. So we knew we were going to have to change the architecture of the site, and that would allow us to put more tools in and expand its capabilities. So we realize our heavy users are not only property owners, but you know, appraisers, real estate professionals, those contractors, developers, title agents. There's just attorneys. There's so many people that use our site in so many ways each and every day that we wanted to make sure we put a lot of features in to serve their daily needs as well as they conduct business. As you can see here, the site gets a lot of traffic. It really peaked in user traffic during the pandemic in 2020. We actually hit 1.7 million users. In 2021, went down slightly, and but our page views continue to grow. You can also see a couple other interesting stats here. Our mobile usage is growing, and we think with the new site, obviously it should grow at a much greater rate. Our online Homestead apps are growing slowly. We're going to work on getting that up as well. And the tax estimator usage, that gets over 11,000 runs per month. So we're really pleased with that. That means a lot of people are getting a better guesstimate of what their taxes are going to be after they cross their first January 1 of ownership. So with that, we're going to jump into the live demo. This is just an image here of what the site looks like. I'm actually going to start off on, here's the old site, and make sure, you know, so we got away from these sidebar menus. Everything's going to be top down as we get into the new site. And I wanted to make you aware that on the home page of the old site, you can quickly jump to the new site via this link or via this banner here. So as you can see, click here to test drive the new pcpao website. So a quick click there will jump you through. But the other way to remember is that the old site is currently running in parallel at .org, and the new site is running at .gov. So here is the new site. I'm going to make it full screen. Well, I'm going to do this first because we talked about it being responsive. So as you can see, it adjusts in a responsive fashion, no matter what your screen size is and no matter what device you are on, and no matter what browser you are using. So as you can see right away, the search is front and center now. You can obviously go into a drop-down menu to go to the various searches. However, you don't need to. It is right here front and center. It lays out really nice on a phone as well. So, you know, if you're on a mobile device, it's going to look more like this. So your search is right there front and center. You can search by address, owner, parcel ID, or the sub or condo name. If you've been using the new site for a little while, we've continued to refine the searching capabilities. Kurt is going to demonstrate some of that later, but he's instituted some smart fuzzy search capabilities, so you don't have to have a precise enter precise information to typically get the result that you're looking for. This is particularly helpful for things like condominiums, where you used to have to type exactly a pound, space, and the unit number. Now that is fuzzy, and you can literally start to type the address of the condo and put the unit number in without typing the word unit or a pound, and you'll get the result. So some great things there that Kurt's worked on to get that to work in a much more functional manner. We have the map search, so that's your large interactive map, which many of you have used from the old site, but it has been enhanced, and we'll look at the new features in that. We have a book and page search. So this is not the clerk search, but this will let you search an OR book and page for any deed reference that we have already cleared through our system. So it means it's already come through our QC process after going through the clerk. If you want to see the freshest recordings, we recommend going to the clerk. This is a bit of a holdover from the old site. We'll see how much it gets used, but it also allows you, which is probably more beneficial, to search condo and subdivision plat books. So you can go into that search and do that.
Mike,
and then you have
excuse me, do you think you might want to go back to full screen here?
Sure.
Or you want to stay at the mobile? There you go.
No, you're good. Thank you.
Cool.
And then advanced search. So if any of you have used the advanced search in the past, that really is you can really filter all of our data within our system and then bring it down and dump it into Excel and utilize that data in any way you see fit. So it is very powerful and much more user-friendly than the prior advanced search. I think you'll enjoy using that. And then we have a My Location button here. Excuse me. So if you are on a location enabled device, mobile device, and you click that, for example, if I pulled up in the driveway of a home, touch that button, I'm going to get a drop down with a couple of address results that are nearest to me, and the one I'm literally parked on will likely be the one that I want to touch, and we'll pull that parcel detail from where I stand. So that's a great feature. We'll address this some more as we go forward, because the My Location works a little different in other areas of the site, where it actually becomes a blue location dot that follows you around. We also have a tangible personal property search that we have not had on the site in the past. So business tangible personal property accounts are searchable by selecting this tab and going into a search interface. Like we said, this is all top down. All your tools, forms, and data here. Our exemption information is here. We have an extensive list of how-to-Is for people to get questions answered quickly. We have a Learn About section where people can deep dive into information about our office, information about appraisals and assessments, how the property tax process works, what's going on with recent legislation and other law. And you can register, obviously, for our public education events, such as the one that you are attending right now. Then we have a Contact Us section where you can schedule speakers, you can join. Well, that mailing list is actually going to change to our newsletter list, but we're still making some fine tuning tweaks. You can follow us on social media here on Facebook, and we'll be expanding to some other social media platforms soon, and you'll see those icons appear as we add them. And we have a fairly robust YouTube channel at this point. We've been adding the prior public education sessions as we've delivered them over the last year and a half. We do those monthly in most cases, and we try to adjust them to what the public and business environments needs are that are timely on the tax roll calendar. So you can check that out. We'll continue to add website help tips there that'll be in video format in short digest pieces. You can obviously right here. I'm sorry, Kurt, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, Mike, sorry, I thought you had paused, but on my location, it's 150 feet, just to let our users know that
Okay.
If it doesn't seem to bring up one, it may be because it's set at 150 feet, just to let their users know.
Okay, great. And does that go from the centroid of the parcel, or does it go from the boundary?
It goes from the edge of the polygon. So it takes that polygon and it goes 150 feet out around that polygon. So if you're not getting a match, you may be on a big
Really
polygon
big
and a small one or something. Yeah. So
okay, excellent.
I'll let you know.
Thanks for sharing that, Kurt. That's good info. For the time being, as long as the old site is up, you'll be able to jump back to the old site if you so wish. I think as you start to drive this, you will not want to go back because you'll find this does everything and more. You can change the language of the website here. You have an extensive, you can do keyword searches to jump to various things. Here's an example of some that I've ran in the past, and that will jump you to some search results. So lots of stuff in here. We haven't even gotten past the top of the first page.
And Mike, one more, contact us. We really do read the feedback, all of the feedback, and we do get together as a group, kind of take the feedback and kind of massage it and see how we can implement it. So it's really great to have feedback from our users. We do read all of them. Yes,
absolutely. Yes, so these comments, questions, and suggestions are coming in a format to us for specific things generally related to your property or operation of the office. The feedback button over here on the side is a different feature really to give us feedback on the performance of the site. What you like, what you don't like. If you're having a difficulty finding something on the site that you used to use, make sure you drop us a note on there. We, as Kurt said, we really do monitor that and watch, and we respond very timely to those suggestions.
And if they want to say we love the site, we'll take that too.
Yes.
We'll take all feedback.
Yes. And so you can see here we have an announcement section. So there's always rolling announcements here. This one's obviously for the public education session. And that is actually running today, and that was the registration link. We'll have another one obviously changing out for next month. You've got speed buttons here down the side for different tasks that are driven quite frequently. Your tax estimator's right there. You can e-file for Homestead. You can check the Homestead status. You can change mailing address, and you can jump into tangible personal property. Their detailed page that gives more info about the tangible personal property filing process. You've got a carousel here with always changing content that you can scroll through, and you can link through to get more information. You've got county stats by parcel and by unit. So this is reflective of all the housing units within the county, and this is reflective of our taxable parcel counts, taxable and non-taxable actually. And then down here again, this is going to change slightly, and we're going to change some of the language because it's really not a mailing list as much as it is an e-newsletter sign up. We currently have 3 different newsletters that we publish. Two of them are on a monthly basis. The one for business owners is usually on a bi-monthly basis, but we have one for property owners, one for real estate industry professionals, and one for the business owners, as I was saying. So those are great little HTML emails that we can shoot to you. Those newsletters have some very timely and helpful information as we roll through the tax roll year. So I encourage you to sign up for those. And you've got dates to remember down here. If you click that, that will give you important dates on the tax roll calendar throughout the year, and you can review articles and publications that our office may have been involved in recently or into our archives. Again, contact information all down here at the bottom, and you've got everything's hot linked. You can jump right to a map of those locations as well. And then down at the very bottom, you've got items such as your ADA, your terms and disclaimer, terms of use and disclaimer, a site map that breaks down the whole site, and contact us once again. So with that, I think we're going to jump to a parcel detail page. So we'll run an address here. Oh, let me do a different one here. So there you can see I've got a hit there, so I can just hit enter and it's going to jump to that parcel. It runs off of basically whatever you see that's selected in blue right there. So it's jumping me into the result page. That's the record that I would like. The first time you visit the parcel detail page on a device, the quick pick tool is going to be popped out. So this little toolbox comes in and out. It's always off to the right on the side of the screen. We did this to get away from the buried links all over the site. If you've driven the old site, you knew there were links across the top, there are links across the bottom, there are embedded links in some of the headings throughout. Many people didn't know that there was information or documents attached to those. And so we wanted to build this little toolbox where here you have your print, email, custom report feature, and contact us. This custom report feature now allows you to pick more than just the property detail page, which is what we're looking at. You can actually click as many of these as you want and build a custom PDF for a report on that property. So your elevation certificate, all these documents are in here as long as they are available for that property. So encourage people to try that out. Obviously, I'm already on a parcel here. I had already entered an address, so I do not need to enter anything further to jump from this parcel right into our tax estimator. It will pass that parcel ID or that address right in. It will do the same for comparable sales. This is a brand new tool we did not have before. This replaces the sales query that literally just gave you a giant dump of every sale within the area, but they weren't necessarily that comparable. You might have a home that's 2,500 square feet and it's pulling up everything from 500 square feet to 4,000 square feet. So this allows you to significantly compress that range with some default settings. And I will jump back to this after we walk through this page. You can jump right to the map search page, which is going to give you a full size map display of this parcel. This is your smaller interactive view here, right on the detail page. If you've used the old site, you know the map used to be at the bottom. We've brought that to the top so you can interact with it right away and you can make sure that you're on the right parcel that you wanted to be on. You've got your trim notice here. You've got your link to the tax bills. You've got exemption status check. You can apply for an exemption on this property, change mailing address, request a property review. This is new, so this will bring up a form. We'll already populate it with the parcel number and the address. And if you would like someone to come out and an appraiser to come out and either remeasure your home, inspect it, maybe you've enclosed a porch, those types of things, we're happy to do that. And that's a simple way for people to make that request. We've got the Fema letter, so that's the 50% rule information. It can be pulled right there if your property is in a special flood hazard area. And then we have a radius search that will deal if you want to create mailing labels within a certain radius of a property. So this is good for different public notices and things of that nature. You can set the distance of that radius.
Or you can download it to Excel, Mike.
Correct.
Yeah, so if you don't want labels.
So I'm going to close that toolbox. We're going to roll down the page. You'll see you've got a summary over here. Wherever you see blue, that's effectively a link that will take you out to more information. Likely has a hover over as well. In this case, you can see it's giving you the full description of the property use code, because sometimes if you're on a mobile device, it may be clipped a little bit, but when you hover over, it gives you the full. And then if I click that, it would jump me out to all the use codes and would scroll up and show me that that is that particular use code per Department of Revenue and our county codes. So I'm going to jump back over. You can see the the legal, the site address, mailing address, all those things. These boxes here will aggregate. So if you had, say it's an apartment complex that I had up as a parcel, and it was 4 buildings, and it had, you know, 100 units, it would aggregate that building count and the living unit count and the square footages. So that these, just keep in mind, these are summaries of the aggregates of all the structures on the property. Where if you want to see the individual detail, you'll see that as you come down the page and you get to the building. Before I jump down, I want to show you these jump links. So these are each section of the detail page, and they will jump you to that portion of the page quickly. If you want to go back up down here in the bottom right, that will jump you back to the top. But so you can quickly leap to any of those areas on the site, or you can simply scroll down the page. You'll notice these little carrots, there's accordions all over the place. So when you print out this detail page, it will print out as what you see is what you get. So if you have certain areas collapsed, those are not going to print. And if they're expanded, they will print. And that's important because as you come down the page, you can see here we've rolled up some of the value history. We have many, many years of value history. So if I turn that up to all, you can see it's going all the way back to 2001 on this particular property. But we've limited it by default to 5 years so that we save a few trees if people decide to print, and it's a lot less scrolling. So you can see we haven't moved the cheese too badly on the detail page. Most of the fields are in the same place. We did modify the Homestead layout here and actually added an additional year, so you see a little better picture of the Homestead picture on the subject property. And then if you have any additional property exemptions or classifications, they would be listed over here, such as an ag exemption or a working waterfront on a marina, something like that. Now, as you come across here, these are all miscellaneous things. That's the last recorded deed. That's a link to the clerk. And this will take you to the current FEMA map for the subject property. And this will check if there's an elevation certificate on this parcel, and it will pull that up. Another way to get that is obviously to just go right through and use the custom report tool as well. This will take you to the plat book and page. You've got your value information here for the most recent year, which is 2022, our history, tax information, our little warning about you know, being careful on a change of ownership, because obviously here in Florida we have the Save Our Homes cap and the 10% non-homestead cap, and those caps do reset on any change of ownership. So that's a little warning there. This will jump you to the tax bill, the most recent one. Obviously the 22s have not come out yet. Those will be released by the tax collector in early November. The last millage rate, the 2022s have not been finalized yet, so those are not there yet. And then there is your tax district. As you come down, we've expanded the sale history. The sale history now has more fields that we've exposed. Grantor, grantee are available. And we've done some smarter things with some of the qualifications. You've got more hoverovers here. And if you had a multi-parcel sale, you would actually see a Q with an M or a U with an M, indicating that that parcel is qualified or unqualified, but it may also be multi-parcel. A lot of people had requested that we aggregate the land area, because a lot of times, for example, here's a perfect example. This is a single family 65 by 120 lot. So we're valuing it on a front foot basis. That's what the method is, front foot. And it's a 65-foot wide lot. And so there's our unit value is 2,100 per front foot. There's a very slight adjustment on that and it arrives at the adjusted value. Well, this aggregates the actual acreage and the square footage of that lot, because that is something that is requested quite frequently. As we move down to the structural elements, you'll see here's the building. In this case, it's a single family residence. You have your living square footage, your gross areas, and your structural element breakdown over here. Any extra features listed in this area? This layout is generally similar to what you are used to seeing on the prior website. And then we've spent a lot of time perfecting our permit data with, here in Pinellas County, we have 24 different municipalities plus the unincorporated county. So it's a lot to interact with, and we've been trying to automate that process as best we can to get that data into our system as efficiently as possible and as accurately as possible. So these links have been modified. We've had to do a lot of work at the back end to try to ensure that those links are not dead links, because sometimes those jurisdictions move their URLs around or change vendors. So we try to stay on top of that. If you run into any that you're having issues with, again, give us some feedback on that, or shoot us an email to Mike at pcpao.gov, and we monitor that Mike mail account, and we will address those and triage that as necessary. So that's basically the detail page layout we've gone through. I want to jump back here and take you into the comp sales tool, because this is a new tool, and we tried to make this super simple and smart. It's obviously designed primarily for residential property, but you can work with it and actually use it for commercial too. I could come in here, I could knock out a subject address, I could just change the use and modify whatever parameters here I want. In this case, it's a house, pulled it right in. It's looking at some simple things for filters. It knows the subject is not a waterfront home, but it is a pool home. It's filtering just qualified sales at this point. Defaults are last 12 months for sale date, and plus or minus 15% of the subject's square footage for living area, and plus or minus 15 years of the subject's year built. So those are just the starting default parameters, along with a 1 mile radius. You can modify these however you would like. If I wanted to narrow this further, I could put in, the subdivision name that I'm most interested in, would filter that even tighter. You can do it on a zip code. You can obviously jump this down. You can, if you're doing commercial, you might even want to search countywide. So all those features are right there for you. You can see just with that simple default layout, I got a ton of sales back. I actually got 20 sales within the past year. Now be careful when you're trying to match those up with our subject values, because remember, our values are always as of January 1. In this case, the values on the site for 22 are January 1 of 2022. A lot of these sales have already occurred after that date. So you can see there's a lot of 22 sales that have continued to occur. But all these headings here are sortable. So I can click on any of those and resort the order. By default, it comes in with the subject at the top for reference, and it may or may not have a sale. A lot of times you'll see it might have, the last sale might have been 20 years ago. So you'll see a really low price comparatively, but that's because it was an old sale. But we wanted to get you the square footage information, the year built, these other parameters, so you can compare it. Now we're looking down here. You can click on any of these, jump right to the parcel detail. You can jump to their deed. There's a hot link on the ownership as well, so that will jump you. Well, I don't know that, yeah, I believe that takes you to the same parcel detail, and it does. But also when you hover over it, what it does, showing the owner, but when you hover over it, it shows the ownership transfer information. So it's showing the grantor and the grantee. Saved a little space on putting all that information on there. So just want to show you that. You can obviously come in here, you can pick all of these if I wanted to export them, or I can pick the group that I want. If I want to, these 3 sales, for example, and the subject, I can print that out. We'll turn it into a nice report with a summary at the top, or I can export that into Excel. We can clear that out. We could start a new search. Lots of options there. So with that, I'm going to jump back to the home page and take you into the map search. I want to make sure I leave Kurt some time. So on the map search, if you've used the old tax parcel viewer, this is quite similar in how it works. However, we've got a much cleaner interface, better buttons to work with. If you're ever tooling around on here and you want to go back out to the full map, which is, you can see outline the little silhouette of Pinellas County, that will always jump you back to the full map, and you can start over whatever you want to do. Now, the My Location, if I turn it on here, and I am not on a mobile device, so when you work in the county, all the internet service runs through this location out here in the airport area in this vicinity. So that's why I'm getting a blue dot way out here, even though I'm not there. So it's really more so for mobile enabled devices with the location services on, but it will follow you. So it can be very handy if you're tooling through a neighborhood and you have that blue dot on, and then you're right in front of a property, then it's just very easy to click on it and get that parcel's information. You can turn on the sales layers. So I can turn on however many years I want there, back to 5 years. We've, as you'll note here, I'll clean it up a little bit so you don't see as much clutter, but you can see we've added additional information on the label. So now you have date, price, its qualification, its living square footage, and its price per square foot. So that information was not all on the old website. And then you have measure tools now. So you can measure distance simply by clicking from point to point. You can do a perimeter with a double click. Gives me the perimeter. If I want to do area, and I know I'm measuring quite sloppy at the moment, but you can, well, I double clicked, shouldn't have double clicked. But when you double click, that ends your activity there. So you can see 0.2 of an acre, but you can also display it in square footage. So there, it just converted it without even having to remeasure it. So you want square yards. Don't know why you would want them, but you can get them if you'd like.
Concrete.
Yeah.
Roofs.
Well, that's
yeah.
That's usually cubic yards.
Cubic yards, yeah.
Yeah. But so that can be helpful, and that's why we did actually put it on there, because you can do the square yards and then do the calculation for cubic if you wanted to. But yeah, you can come on here. You can measure a roof if you need to. Lots of things. Our mapping is updated annually, and it's typically, we try to get it flown by our vendor near the beginning of the year. It takes a little while before we actually can upload, because they have to QC it and make sure it is of survey grade quality. So, but with that said, our maps are not property surveys. You know, if you see a fence line that isn't exactly where you thought it was on a property line, please don't think that our lines are perfectly aligned with the aerials. So just a little disclaimer there.
And Mike, you mentioned our maps are updated once a year. It's actually the imagery or the aerial photography that's flown and captured once a year, but the actual data, the line work, the lot numbers, all of that dynamic type data, that's refreshed every night. So the aerial is only captured once a year, but the data that you're looking at, sales data, parcel lines, that's all updated every night.
Yes, thank you for that clarification, Kurt.
Including the tabular data, all the data you search for, the values, that's all refreshed at night.
That's right. You've got a print function here if you want to print a large version of the aerial, and you can put a title on it. You can download it as a PDF. You've got a couple of different export options with that, and you've got map styles. So we're on the 2022 aerial at present. I know that image is not right at the moment, but that's the 2021 aerial. You can go into the countywide land use, turn that layer on. You can look at evacuation zones for hurricane type situations. And then we have the Fema Flood Map layer. So you can see that. And keep an eye out here. We will likely be adding some additional. We may be adding the county vulnerabilities assessment map on there as well in the near future. You've got help here, gives you a little legend and tells what each of those items are. Little icon here, that'll always take you back to home. You can obviously also search by address here. I'm going to turn off the flood map, and we're going to go back in, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you actually click in this layer. So if I click on a parcel, I get this little property summary that pops up. We like to call it a Monopoly card, and all the blue bold links like here, that's your parcel ID number. That will jump me back to the property detail if I want to. This is showing me the last qualified sale and a link to the deed. You've got all these links here. Again, you can get to the parcel detail. I can run the tax estimator on this parcel, comp sales. This has a smart little tool baked into it that knows that this parcel is a residential parcel, but does not have a homestead exemption on it, and may potentially be eligible for it, may not, but it's alerting them that there is no homestead on this parcel at present. And if they click that, it will start the application process. If it were a pending application, you would see that in yellow and it would say pending. If it is a corporately owned parcel, like an LLC or a corp or a partnership, then this will actually go away and it will put a link to Sunbiz there and we'll jump there, and I'll show you that in a moment. There again, this turns on the flood map layer. This will jump you to the zoning map. If we can, we'll take you as far as we can get you. So in this case, it looks like I'm in Largo. So Largo only has future land use. They don't have zoning, and they do not have an interactive site that we can drill down to the parcel level on at this point. So right now, as far as we can get you is to the PDF that they have published. But if you're in a different jurisdiction like City of Clearwater, City of St. Pete, unincorporated county, we can take you right into their GIS mapping, right down to the parcel level, so you can see zoning and land use information. So again, we take you as far as we can because we don't maintain that information. We also have Google Street View if you want to go down the street level and see that imagery, and we have the angled aerial views, and we can jump in and show you an example of that. So that's basically an oblique bird's eye view of a property. You can zoom in on it. You can move around the property with this navigation tool here, and you can look at historical imagery. And there's other layer information and things that you can play with inside of here. So more great tools for you to use on the site that were not available in the prior version of the website. Again, more links here, give you more information. Let's click on a commercial parcel here. I want to show you, see how the Sunbiz option pops up here. So if I wanted to jump to that ownership, there it pops me right up to it. And then I could go in and see who the managing members are, looking at annual reports or what have you. So that pretty much covers the map tool. I'm not going to get into the advanced search today because I want to leave Kurt enough time to go through and hit on any bells and whistles. Maybe we can get a little advanced search at the very end if he gets through all of the items that he may want to cover. And with that, I am going to unshare my screen and let Kurt take control here.
Sure. Great job, Mike. And let me see if I can get to my.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job. So just a couple of things. I think Mike probably hit a lot of the topics. I just want to show a couple on the search. for searching. And so this one is 3108, generally Bordeaux is what I'm looking for. So if I do 3108, I'm going to get 48 addresses back. And if I mouse over my short legal, it'll tell me the kind of matching that it's doing. It tries to help as much as it can. So this is directly matching on that address. But if I keep going and I do BOR, I'm going to start getting, it'll start filtering automatically for me. And over here on the short legal, if I mouse over it, it says it's doing some fuzzy matching now because it doesn't know the full Bordeaux name yet, but it's doing a little bit of fuzzy matching. You can also misspell words. So if I do BORDOUGH, Bordeaux instead of EAUX, it will do a little bit different matching, and it does sounds like. So it thinks that Bordeaux, the dough, sounds like DEAUX, which it does. So that'll help you get a little bit farther in your matching. You can misspell things. So if I do condo, subdivision condo searching. So if I want to search by a complex like Dolphin K, I can do that. And you can see I get 252 that are Dolphin K. And this is going this time by subdivision / condo complex name. So if I mouse over again the short legal, it'll actually show me the Dolphin K is the subdivision that it's looking for, or the complex that it's looking for. And again, this one did some fuzzy matching. And then I can actually add on there if I wanted to go down into the units. I could do 309, and it'll actually get down to Dolphin K's 309. You can put in a pound, you don't have to put in a pound. And this is still doing some fuzzy matching. I can go back here and misspell K and put a K in, and essentially I'm going to be getting the same thing, and that's doing what the sound likes. So if I go here and do 309 again, it's still going to come up with Dolphin K using the sounds like. So that's the searching I wanted to show you a little bit. Just looking at my notes, I think that's about it on that one. There's some property detail. I think Mike probably went over all of them, but let me just jump to my, here's an interesting one. So this is one where you're searching 1914 Albany, but we display all the owners. So generally you're just going to have maybe one or two, but this one actually happens to have a lot of owners. So we will show all of those to you. And then if you click on that parcel, I kind of wanted to show it to you in the property detail.
And if you can still see the screen, which I can, I think what he was going to point out is that if you hit that little more button under the first and second owner, it will expand and you would see all of the owners involved in that parcel. That little more button will also pop up, for example, on a legal description. This is obviously a fairly short legal for this one, but if you had a very long legal, that little more button would show up and you'd be able to click that and it would expand and show the entire full legal. Okay, I don't know if he's coming back in. I'm going to take control of the screen. And I'm going to jump back over to the site. And let's go ahead and look at advanced search just for a moment here and make sure you guys understand how this works, because we do have a little bit of time. So if you've used this in the past, some of the things you'll recognize as far as the steps. So step one is you're basically selecting search parameters. And when you get down to step two, you're picking the output fields that you want to show up in your spreadsheet. So we've created these speed buttons to group the use codes. You can always come in here and pick your use codes individually and roll through them, but you can also, if you wanted all residential use codes, I can simply click that box and it grabs them all. can turn that off. Same thing, I can come in if I wanted all the office related use codes. I could click that, and as I get through here, when I get to office, you can see that they are turned on. So pretty handy little speed buttons there. So you can see all those use codes are populated. All of these, again, they're accordions. See the little caret over here? So it's pointing the direction that you can expand or contract that accordion box. So here I could enter any filtering property characteristics, such as the living or heated area, gross square footage, year built, any of those physical characteristics there. If I had a certain extra feature character, like if I only wanted pool homes, I could type the word pool in, and it will grab that in our extra feature list, and it's only going to identify pools. So in this case, we have eight records with pool that are an office. So I'm not sure. It's interesting. I'm not sure what those are, but apparently we have some offices with pools. And then you've got a waterfront and a non-waterfront trigger there if you elect to use them, and you can always reset. So your record count will always show here in the blue. Again, more accordions. So I know we accordioned you to death here, but part of it's to give you more real estate on the space, especially on the screen, especially when you're on a mobile device. If all these were expanded, it would be troublesome. So this is showing what I've selected so far. These are the default output fields. I have not gotten down to selecting my output fields yet, but we created some smart speed output buttons. It's already defaulted to the property summary, which is what you see down here below. These are the fields that would be exported, and the filtered data from this group here. So we'd have 8 records come out, and we'd get all these fields of data related to them if we select that. If we just want property mailing address information, then that adjusts the output fields. If we want stuff related to residential sales, along with a price per square foot calculation, that is the one you start with. If you want commercial or obviously non-residential sales, you can use that. And then you have multifamily sales output and land sales output. So those give you some different indicators that you can work with. You'll note that as I change these, some of these light blue bars were changing to dark blue. So these are our output fields. Wherever you see dark blue means some of those fields inside are selected and part of your output set. So in this case, the property use description is what, see, if I turn that off, now it goes to light blue because now I have nothing selected in that basket. If I turn a couple of these on, and here I just added seawall, which wasn't in that group before, it added it to my output fields right here. So very customizable. You can tweak that out however you like, and then you can pick your output format, hit download, it will pull it down. I'm in Chrome, so it's going to end up pulling it down. It'll be a download in the corner. Then I hit, whoop, then I'll hit that if I downloaded it, and it will open the Excel file. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So we'll call it advanced search. I'm going to open it. It's opening on my other screen. I'm going to slide it over to show you. You'll note whenever you open these up, you'll see at first you'll get this protected view warning. You want to make sure you hit enable editing. It's because we have embedded links to the parcels. So when you enable that, then it lets that clear your security on your Excel file. And now all these are hot links. So if I want to go to the detail of that parcel, I can click it and get to it. You've got all these this data layout based on those output fields. I can jump right to the map of that parcel, or I can jump to the OR booking page for the in that case, yeah, it would be the last sale. So I'm going to close that. And then you have an added, if you're in a municipality, this can be kind of a nice little tool here. You can, whatever your search parameters were set on, you can open this up and generate a summary, and it will give you the just, assessed, and taxable values with a min, median, and maximum and a total for whatever area you picked. So if I was back up here in input and I wanted a certain jurisdiction, for example, say I wanted just the city of Clearwater, could put that in. Obviously, no offices with pools, so let's get rid of the pool there. And now we've jumped up to over 4,600 results. And I should be able to run this again. Obviously, the numbers get changed drastically, so lots of value in office properties in the city of Clearwater in quite a range. So just wanted to give you that brief overview of the advanced search. Did we get Kurt back? Another thing here on the search is you've got them all here in the drop down, but then you can also jump right to the clerk's page. So this, whenever you see that little icon there, that means we're taking you to an outside link. In this case, the clerk's official records. Other agency links we have at the bottom here. So other state and local links of interest are readily available for you there. And encourage you all to explore the site. And would like to remind you that we try to do this type of or these types of public education sessions each and every month. The one coming up for next month is a very popular one. It's our first time Florida homeowners presentation. This is, we've had a high percentage of new owners coming in from out of state, and they do not understand Florida tax law. So we're trying to educate them on Save Our Homes and understanding how the cap's going to reset after they cross their first January 1 of ownership, not to rely on what the seller's taxes were as an indication of their taxes, coach them on using the tax estimator, all those sorts of things. So, and just because it says first time Florida homeowners, it's really for all homeowners, because so many people do not know a lot of the information that we share there. We share a lot of common missteps that some property owners make. And so I encourage anybody that wants to know more about Florida tax law and those types of items around their homestead property to tune in. That's a great session. That will be Thursday, October 13th from noon to 1, and we will host that both in person in our South County Service Center, and it will also be available virtually. So these are an example of some other sessions that we have upcoming, and we've probably hosted on about, I think, seven or eight different topics to this point. So we try to space them out and move them around by timeliness of the calendar year. And with that in mind, I want to thank you all for attending. We're actually a couple of minutes early. I'm amazed we got all that in an hour. So Sandy, do we have any questions in the chat?
Hi, no, we don't have anything at the moment. If anyone wants to chat, please do, or raise your hand and I can unmute you.
Okay, very good. I know it's a lot. It was a lot, and we were moving fast in order to get through it all. But the big thing was we wanted to be able to pull the curtain back and take you on a quick ride through the site so that you could kind of see all the things that are available for you to use in there. And I'm sure I missed some stuff. And we'll
sorry,
some new.
I do have to apologize. It looks like I can't unmute. The beauty of a webinar.
Yeah, I think I can. Let me keeps going away.
We do have a question in the chat, though, as to where we can get a link to the presentation.
Okay. Well, the presentation will be recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel in the next few days. So that would be the best place to check it out. And you can get to that by just navigating to that YouTube icon from the top right corner of our homepage. And I can show you again where that is. Oh, not that site, not that old site. Right up here. So we go to that. We end up here on our YouTube site, our YouTube channel, I should say. And this is a great session, the one we just did last month, our understanding your notice of proposed property taxes. So if your friends or family or anybody that you know is confused about the trim notice that they received near the end of last month, that is the presentation to watch. Answers tons of questions. We walk you through the notice and explain all sorts of things about value and millage rates and where you can go if you want to voice your opinion over millage rates at hearings, that type of thing. All that information is in that presentation.
And the next question is, can you send a copy of the invitation to the October 13th meeting? That's the First Time Florida Homeowners. And that actually, the registration is open on our website under Learn About PAO Public Education Event Registration. Oh, thank you, Mike.
So I'm here right there, and you go down. These are, again, we're an accordion-rich environment here, so on the new site. So you can see, just go down to the end, and that is the one that is upcoming in October, and you can click the register button right there. And this is another way you can actually view the ones that were done earlier this year. Instead of going straight to the YouTube channel, we have the links laid in for each one.
And the next question, can I change the homestead property address? And that would also be under, you could go to how do I change my address?
Right. I'm assuming they're talking
parcel.
I'm assuming they're talking about their mailing address.
Yes.
For the homestead, and this is the spot right here. So the how do I change my mailing address? And here's where you make the inquiry right here. So you end up starting to look up the property. So let's just say it was this one. And then you can fill out the relevant information here, and we can vet it appropriately. So that is the quickest way to change a mailing address.
Terrific. Well, I believe that was all the questions.
Okay. Well, again, thank you all for joining us. Kurt, thank you for being my wingman there.
You're welcome.
And Sandy being my wing girl.
My pleasure.
And we don't know what happened to Kurt. I'm glad you're not frozen anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I got the mooring, I think.
Blame the weather.
I think I picked up on where you're going, so I just ran with it.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all. We are literally right on time. We're on 12:59. We nailed it. So we appreciate you all for joining us, and hope you'll be back with us again. Until then, take care. Thank you.